Hey everyone, welcome to the G3 Boardroom. Today we're going to be reviewing Alien, The Fate of Nostromo. Pastrami.
Both are correct. Sure.
Yes, this is a game that's been around for not too long.
Movie's been around
Yeah, the movie's been around a long time. This was a great game. Now, what you have to do in this game, it's a cooperative game. You might even say super cooperative because there's certain things where you can actually affect other people while, not on your. I don't want to give it the super cooperative.
I'm not going to give it the super cooperative stamp of approval.
Okay, it's a cooperative game. It's a lot of fun. What you have to do is you have to do 4 tasks and then a 5th final task, and the tasks involve what?
No, you're good. I mean, it all depends on the number of players, but yes.
Right, yeah. For 3, you're doing 4 tasks, and you have to move yourself around, and you have to pick up scrap, and you have to pick up maybe these canisters. You're avoiding the alien, and so these missions might be you have to pick up this canister or a couple of canisters and put it into a different room, and then once you do that, you've satisfied that mission. And so it's a variety. It's pretty interesting. As you're moving around the board, every time you enter a room with one of these things, you flip it over, and hopefully it's blank, but this one is not. It's got a little nom-nom on there, which means the bad guy comes to that room and does some damage. The damage really is morale. This is your morale counter, and for 3 players, you start here, and every time you get bit, your morale goes down.
I promise you, anyone who's ever been bit is sad.
Yeah.
And you're going to mitigate some of that by building things, as you're going around.
Alien monster anyway.
Yeah. As you're going around collecting stuff, you might not be collecting stuff for the mission or task. You can collect stuff so you can build like flashlights or grapple guns or what's a taser, incinerator.
Or even a cage. We never found Jonesy, did we?
Incinerator. Yeah, incinerator that can
one of these
push
things?
push the alien back out of your way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember seeing the cat.
There is a cat in this game, I promise you.
I believe you.
I wonder if it was one of these ones. Oh, by the way, we ran into the cat.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, see, there's a little picture of the cat.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, it's hard to
yeah.
see. I really enjoyed this game. It's a lot of fun. I played this game before where we've lost in 20 minutes. But, we've won this game also. I think that our playthrough of this one, we did win this one, and kind of had a great time doing it. It's a lot of fun to have the co-op element and always be doing different things. It gets a little bit tense because you have X amount of actions per turn, and when your actions start running out, I need one more action. But, I think some of that is mitigated by other people, as Dave in our playthrough saved our butts by reminding us, that other players can do things for you on their turn. And so I enjoyed it a lot.
Well, I'm a big fan of this game. First of all, I'm a big fan of the movies. I've seen them all. I own other alien-themed games, so I like the whole genre, the whole universe of the alien movies and what have you. I like this game. If you're a fan of Horrified, I think you'd be a big fan of this game as well.
Same company.
Oh, okay.
Again, this is one of those cooperative games that you really feel like it's cooperative. You have to work together. If you do not work together, you are going to lose quickly. Mm-hmm. You have to plan your turns out. You have to think about, okay, what am I going to do is going to impact other players. I love the idea of how much variety there is in this game. As Jason mentioned, you have to complete these objectives. And
I think I call them everything but objective. I went through the whole thesaurus and everything except for objective.
And I think there's 10 different objectives.
Yeah.
And so these get mixed up every single game, and you get a variety of those. And then there's the final mission. There's 5 different missions. So there's enough variety in this game. You don't feel like you're playing the same game over and over again. There's 5 different characters to choose from. It's not too complicated. I don't feel like it's be overwhelming for a new gamer, somebody who's just starting in the hobby. But I think it's challenging enough for an experienced gamer that you really have to think about, okay, what am I going to do in my turn? And there's no one way to I guess what's the word? Correct.
Lose?
No, like certain games, if you take these actions every single time, you're guaranteed victory. I don't think you can do that in this game.
Oh, right. Yeah, I agree.
So I just think it's a good balanced game. It doesn't take forever. You could play this game less than an hour, and it's fun. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
You always feel like you're on your toes.
Yeah, and if you've ever seen the movies, you get apprehensive when that alien is coming up right behind you and ends up one space next to you, and yeah, it is. And I also like the artwork of the game.
It's a good looking board. The pieces, I would want to say they were great quality, but it's hard to say that when one of the alien's arms is already fallen off,
Yeah.
which is disappointing, but I guess it happens. It's an easy fix. It's a little bit of super glue. But
Yeah, the only other thing I don't like is that the cat, Jonesy the cat,
Very hard to see.
shows up. Yeah, and is something bad supposed to happen when the cat shows up?
well, Jonesy, like I said, in the movie, jumps out and does a lot of jump scares in the movie, so it causes morale to drop in the game. But you can build a cat carrier and capture the cat and take him out of the game.
Now,
so.
when we did our playthrough, we were far from the lowest morale, and I think that Jonesy popped up and we just didn't see it, but I don't think it had any effect on the game.
No, I don't think it did because none of us were carrying a cat carrier.
And there were long stretches in that playthrough where we were revealing blanks. We're like, hey, and so I don't think it impacted us overly much, maybe 2 or 3 lower, and we were around here, so it would have been a little bit closer.
Yeah, so I think it would have been a little bit better to have that a little bit more obvious, I think, for the cat to show up. Actually, there's a cat on this one also.
Well, there you go.
There's probably 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I'm going to echo these guys as well. I think the pieces are good enough, and I am sad about the alien's arm coming off, but he's just as terrifying with one arm as he is with 2. There's some nice variety in the characters you can choose, the objectives you reach, and the final missions as well. One of the things I really liked about this game, though, was the objectives that you do to progress. None of them seem super complex. They all seem fairly easy, and so you don't feel like, oh man, this is going to take forever, or this is too many moving parts. It's not bad. It's like, okay, carry 1 scrap each to this area. It doesn't seem like it would be bad, but if the cards start coming up where you have to discard all your scrap, that can be a burden, and so being able to accomplish those quickly, I really like that those weren't overly complex. It would have been bad to say, okay, you need 2 flamethrowers and 2 grappling hooks and a motion detector and go over here. And it's like, okay, well, I'm spending 5 hours gathering stuff, and so making those simple, it's a nice way to move along, feel like you're accomplishing things and you're not overwhelmed by it. The game is very reminiscent for me of Horrified. It's the same company and they reuse a lot of the same ideas, but I really like Horrified, so I really like this game too. I enjoyed it. It's cooperative. Dave's character is able to move other characters. When you're Ripley, you're able to move other characters. I would say that's extremely powerful.
Yeah,
but
and that's what won us the game.
It did, but I don't think there's anybody who's ever going to play this game and not have a player take Ripley.
Just for thematics.
Right, it's like, okay, well, it's one of the most powerful abilities, obviously, but she's the main character as well, so someone's going to take her. But I thought all these were useful, and I think the ones on the other characters are useful as well. Overall, I enjoyed the game, and I know it's not very expensive. It's a pretty light play. It's not super complex. Like I said, I like the objectives. They're not overly complex either. And even the final objective, I was kind of dreading watching it come up. I'm like, oh, okay, it's going to come up and it's going to be some huge pain in the neck. And it came up and it's not easy, but it wasn't super crazy hard.
No, we had 4 rounds. A timer started. We had 4 rounds to do our final objective, and we did it on the 3rd round.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was, it was close.
And what was crazy about that is when we got it, our objective was we each had to grab a coolant canister and make it to this place.
And a scrap.
And we were all next to a coolant canister. So we're like, cool. It was obvious which way we were going. You were going up there. I was going over here. Dave had one right near him. And so, like, on the first turn, we all had the coolant canister. It's like, awesome. Now we just need the scrap, and we're there. Well, my guy makes scrap. It was no big deal. And it still took us all those turns to get over there.
I think what happened was the alien, we were all right here, ready to go in to here.
Yeah, and then the
and
alien
the
pops up in
alien
there.
popped up there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that took us
Just like the movie.
Took us a minute
Just
to
like
get
the
rid of
movie.
it.
Right when they're running for the exit, there's one last jump scare. You know, just like the movie.
And just like the movie, we blasted with an incinerator.
That's right. That's right.
But I think that cost us like an extra couple turns.
It did cost
so
us
that-
that. It cost us. It slowed us down one turn, but I just think that it seems fairly well balanced.
Yes.
I'd like to play this game with 5 people. I think 5 is the max. I'd love
Correct.
to play with 5 just to see if, see where the sweet spot is. But I just love the mechanics of this game, and I'd love to play it with 5 people. I love the different abilities that everyone has. The abilities are not like huge. Like I didn't really have an ability, but I could take 5 actions instead of 4. Dave's ability was he could spend an action to move another person. So yeah, I'd love to. There's also a card that keeps coming up in here. Like if Ash is playing.
I think it's on one of the final missions. It puts him into play and he chases you around.
Or there's a few objectives that include Ash as well.
Oh,
Okay, so
okay.
he's not a
No, he's a bad
character.
guy.
What are the other 2 characters?
There's Lambert. She is the navigator. Her
okay,
special ability is spend an action. Look at the top card of the encounter deck. You may put it on the bottom if you'd like.
Oh, that's nice.
It could be, but then you could also draw something that's even worse.
Right.
But it's pretty powerful.
That was-
And then Brett, he can reduce the cost of any item that costs 2 or more scrap by 1 scrap. So and then he can make items without using an action.
And then
That's nice.
Jason mentioned his where he can use an action to create scrap.
Right. The problem with Brett is he also got 3 actions. So as soon as I saw the 3 up in his corner, I didn't care
yeah.
what his special ability was. I skipped him.
That's not too bad that they don't have Newt.
That's a different movie.
Oh, that's right. This is Alien. She was Aliens. Okay,
Right.
that's right.
So yeah, one of the options for the game, I don't mean to interrupt, is you can play with Ash. He, if you want to, makes it the game much more challenging. But he starts in the med bay, and then when he enters your space, I believe you lose 2 morale or something like that.
no.
So
Gives you 2 sad.
2 sads.
of course, if you've seen the movie, you know why.
He's sad. Anyway, but yeah, to sum up, I think the pieces are good enough. I would probably sleeve these cards, but
Okay.
it is what it is. No, pieces are good enough. It's a solid game. I enjoyed it.
yeah, I love this game.
I think it's really around $30-$35.
Oh, yeah, I think you can get it cheaper than that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Worth it.
And if you don't have any friends, you can play this game solo.
Why'd you immediately look at me?
I looked in this general direction.
All right, if you've ever played this game, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear what your experience was. While you're leaving me a comment, why don't you go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you join us on future videos. We'll see you next time. That's what I was waiting for.